Hello, everyone. I have been encouraged by a beautiful friend of mine to share some of my story that I am writing with all of you. Um, this is something that I noticed that isn't done very often by writers, is to share their work. Whereas, like, if you're a singer, you put yourself on camera singing. If you play an instrument, you can record yourself playing an instrument. Or if you're a visual artist, you can record yourself creating your art. But we writers don't really show our products until they're finished, packaged perfectly, which I think is really unfair to the process of writing, which is a really beautiful form of expression. So I'm going to share a little bit of a story that I'm working on with you all, and I hope that you enjoy it. I have been working on this story for a really long time, since 2017. It has taken many, many forms. It's changed a lot. It continues to change every time I touch it. But I'm really excited and happy about this first chapter, so I would like to share it with you. So this is a middle grade novel. It is called Demarius Hart and the Secret of the Amerlux, and is my tale. On this Saturday morning, like so many others, Demarius Hart stood on the front porch of Hart's Treasures, broom in hand, sweeping dust from left to right. The only difference was this would be the final Saturday Demarius was 12 years old. And while no kid imagines doing chores on the eve of their 13th birthday, these days Demarius found himself slowly accepting the dust, musty flake by musty flake. Squished high and tight between the Barber House and Boomer's Bakery, Hart's Treasures was his family's namesake. Inherited by his mother from her father, and his father before him, and his father before him, the antique shop was not only the oldest black-owned property in Millersville, it was the center of Main Street ever since the Harts first moved to California. And Demarius's mother, Miss Queen Jean Hart, like a crown jewel, was the delight of everyone in Millersville. When Miss Jean passed away last winter, the townsfolk couldn't help but mention the Harts every chance they got. Demarius would hear their lowered voices everywhere he went, while getting his hair cut at the barber shop, while picking up groceries at Miller's Co., even while trying to find peace and quiet along the nearby river. Someone in town was talking about the Harts. They'd whisper about how tragic it was to see Miss Jean wither away from that terrible cancer. They'd discuss the shame of leaving Demarius's estranged ex-con of a father to raise him. He'd even listen in as they took quiet bets on how long before those big city tycoons returned to buy the shop up now that Miss Jean was out of the way and gentrify Millersville into the newest hipster hotspot. The end of an era, they'd say. A real darn shame. Main Street just isn't the same anymore. Yes, Demarius's mother, Miss Queen Jean, had made her mark, entertaining everyone who wandered into the shop, even if all she could offer them was a smile for their 20-year-old antique salad spinner. "This ain't no roadshow," she'd said more than once while ushering them out the jingling door. "But I'll see what I can do." Miss Jean knew all the secrets to pleasing a crowd, the first of which was a hot slice of homemade sweet potato pie from the kitchen upstairs, always a welcome consolation prize to disappointed sellers. But now that Demarius's father was in charge, Hart's Treasures wasn't pleasing anyone, especially not the Harts. "We got plenty," he would say as the cheerful doorbell rang in folks' disappointed faces. "I'll find me some good treasure soon," he would preach to the stack of junk mail Demarius knew were really bills. "I promise we'll get back out there, hunting just like your mama did," he'd tell Demarius at dinner for the umpteenth time. Months of porch sweeping passed, and Demarius listened and watched as the townfolk kept gossiping. The shop doorbell went silent, and to his surprise, the small town of Millersville got even duller. From top to bottom, the whole of Demarius Hart's 13-year existence had transformed into a dusty mess. Of course, living and working in an antique shop certainly didn't help. For what did antique shops have besides 100-year-old apple pillars covered in rust and patina? You guessed it, dust. Lots and lots of dust. Or worthless powder, as Demarius called it, because as he proclaimed, only worthless things are left to gather dust. Case in point, the literal glass case which held his father's priceless basketball, signed by Earl Lloyd himself, the first black man to play in an NBA game. And you better believe that leather sphere was under lock and key, free from even a speck of dust. Every morning when Demarius entered the shop, he heard his father squeaking a cloth across the glass, back and forth, up and down, blowing away any stray particles that dare come near the ball. People, on the other hand, were welcome, and Demarius's father delighted in recounting the history of the ball to any soul who feigned even the slightest interest in sports or history, whether they wanted to hear it or not. The only thing his father talked about more than Earl Lloyd's ball was Demarius's mother, Jean Hart. Even Demarius knew his mother had earned her legacy and the title of Miss Queen Jean. He would often catch his mother standing outside the shop as he tended to his morning chores, her chest swelling with pride so big she'd have to put her hands on her hips and lean back as she looked up at it. "One day, Hart's treasures will be yours, Demarius Jean," she'd say. Demarius's eyes would dart around, bracing for his father's disapproving grunts whenever his mother mentioned his middle name out loud. "It's a girl's name," he would argue to her rolling eyes and ticking tongue. It didn't seem to matter that Demarius's granddad's first name was also Jean, or that his father had entered Demarius's life 10 years too late to have a say in naming him anyway. It was just another reminder to Demarius of the ocean-sized gap between them. So whenever someone would ask, and Demarius's mother wasn't around, his father would just say Demarius J. Hart and hope that they assumed he'd meant something more manly, like Jamal or Jeremiah. But Demarius liked being named after his granddad and his mother, though he'd never admit that to his father. In fact, there was a lot of things Demarius would never admit to his father, like the fact that he wanted more than anything to be an actor. Crafting a character and donning a costume was Demarius's bread and butter. When his mother was alive and before his father entered the picture, Demarius would host a show in the living room every Friday night. He'd set a movie soundtrack on the stereo and point the lampshades up toward the wall. Taking a breath behind the dusty curtains and, ta-da, Demarius would reveal a character complete with captivating tale to entertain his audience of one. With a smile like a spotlight that would follow Demarius across the stage, Jean Hart gave out applause like she'd just witnessed Earth, Wind, and Fire in concert. Folding to a bow, Demarius absorbed the love of his adoring fan. But now the seats were empty, and Demarius Hart was far from a star. In the eyes of his father and of Millersville at large, Demarius would always just be Jean's boy. A 12-year-old with no surprises, dark chestnut skin, a respectable crew cut, and above-average sweeping skills. Nothing and no one to write home about. Demarius watched as a group of kids from school raced past the shop on shining bikes, headed toward the rivers for some late Saturday morning fun. Their spinning tires kicked up a big cloud of dust and blew it right in Demarius's face. He coughed and kept on sweeping until the shop's doorbell rang. So that's my story. Sorry, I started tearing up a little bit at the end. I noticed a few things as I was reading, which is why I really encourage fellow writers to read your work out loud. Because there was things that I edited that I spoke, but aren't what was written on the page, because I thought of a better way to communicate that to you all while I was speaking it. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I enjoyed reading out loud, and it helped me really kind of own the story and get excited about sharing it with other people. So let me know what you think in the comments, and until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.